drank a pop and I want to belch at some point during
We're going
this
to
video.
hear, like, we're just inner burps. That's all you're going to have, just inner burps.
Lovely.
Lovely. New topic. My turn for you. Right. This is an interesting one because it's not coming from me. It's coming from a fan.
Really?
Yes. Believe it or not, internet, we've got fans. So this comes from a fan. So this comes from Chris, who has been following us from the beginning. He says, Minecraft is being used for educational purposes now in schools. Do mainstream video games have a place in education?
It's a very interesting question. And I think it's you're going to have to get something like a niche game like Minecraft that's able to do something like that. I think kind of if you look at the kind of the gaming as a wide scale kind of genre, then no, you can't really see someone going in and saying, right, kids, today we're going to learn about, I don't know, physics. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the physics of these characters in Grand Theft Auto. It's not really going to happen, but I think it's for youngsters. I think it could be used very, very well. So things like Minecraft. How are they using Minecraft? Do we have any idea how they're actually using that as an educational tool?
Yeah, it's to give them awareness of like spatial awareness in terms of building stuff. Do you know what I mean? Instead of using blocks, you just they say like, look, build a house, build this, build that, build that. Just it's about sort of broadening your creativity. It's only for primary schools, do you know what I mean? They're not using it in the secondary schools because then it's like it sort of defeats the point. But it's all about being able to be creative. Yeah, that's what it is.
I think it's I mean, for things like that, for a purpose of something like a Minecraft, that works absolutely perfectly. So kind of trying to engage kids from an early age and get them thinking about how they can be creative and kind of just to get their creative juices flowing from an early age. I think it's a really, really good idea. I think once you get past kind of very kind of early age, it's probably going to be something that's not going to be really any good. So I think once you get past kind of maybe 7 or 8, you're not going to be. Where I would like to see games and education maybe become more prominent is in education of certain kind of topics that are quite important on a global scale. So there are certain things that to me video games shy away from very much, and it's things that they don't need to. So and it's across all media. I think it's not unique to video games, but kind of topics like racism and things like that, and not commonplace in games. We see it occasionally and sporadically, but we don't see it a lot. So things like racism or like sexuality that you don't see gay video game characters. You see them very, very kind of rarely. And I think video games are now more popular really than they've ever been, and I think the industry is in a position to be able to kind of start helping people educate themselves on things like this. I'm playing through Tales from the Borderlands at the minute, and they've got, from what I can gather, is a lesbian couple in it. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's quite refreshing to see something like that, because you don't see that. So that's what I'd like to see more. I'd like to see maybe not so much kind of mainstream education in terms of in schools. I would just like to see the video game industry be a bit more proactive in looking to kind of break down some of these barriers of things like racism and sexuality and kind of transgender and things like that. There's a place for the video game industry to help these things along. So that's what I'd like to see.
Awesome. In terms of education in schools, what are a game that's just come to my mind when I read you the question? Valiant Hearts.
Now that's a really good call. Actually, yes.
World War One. And to have stories about the people who experienced World War One. I think that something like that would work. You know, if you were able, I don't know how this would be physically possible, but if you were able to give your classroom of students a weekend to play that as homework. Right. And then come out and discuss it. See the quest to know more. You know what I mean? As opposed to practical education. In terms of how does that make you feel? Playing that game.
I think Valiant Hearts is actually a really good example, because you've got the gameplay, but you've got these little kind of snippets and factoids about the First World War. And I mean, I played Valiant Hearts at 29 years old, and I learned things about the First World War that I never knew. So I think that sort of thing. But then again, you're kind of thinking, it's a niche game. You don't see that. You don't see that much historical games based on historical time periods and kind of things that were and historical eras tend to be limited to things like the old Call of Duty games, which covered World War II relentlessly. Maybe the Assassin's Creed games, they go a little bit into kind of the history of the eras, but you can't really give you can't give your primary school children Assassin's Creed.
No.
Play this in the weekend and go and knife this guy. But I like the idea. I think you'd have to have games created that probably specifically for that purpose. I mean, Valiant Hearts is a great example, but that obviously wasn't designed for that purpose. But if they can start developing kind of like a suite of educational games, it would be awesome. And again, it's engaging kids with what they like, with what they like doing. Kids. I mean, this is a bit of a generalisation, but kids love video games. Kids like video games. So if you can combine game and education at the same time, awesome. I'd love to say that.
Cool, nice one, guys. Let us know what you think about games being educational for people, whether that is if that's in school purposes or if it's to give people a leg to stand on, support, to be able to try and help them with issues that they've got personally. Let us know what you think about that. So yeah, I'm Digital MB. This is Grim Day 1. We'll be back. Thanks very much.